Warning! This video will be more grotesque than my usual ones, so if you don't want to see potentially not safe for work content, please skip it. Squid Game is a dark critique of capitalism and exposes the fact that fairness is an illusion in the current world. It's a show where people reveal their true colors and don't hesitate to betray their closest friends if it means gaining something material. But can this strong symbolism alone explain why Squid Game achieved global success? I don't think so. I believe the games themselves and their grotesque nature played an equally important role. That's why in today's video, we will analyze the most grotesque and awful deaths that happened in Squid Game. I won't show the exact scenes on screen because I don't want my video or my channel to be flagged by YouTube for inappropriate content, but I'll try to describe them as much as possible. As an honorable mention, and what I believe to be the second most painful death on the show, are the people who were eliminated and had their organs harvested, especially in Season 2, when the players had to be alive for the organs to be fresh, meaning they would feel everything while being sliced open. That's gotta be the most painful way to go. Nearly everyone who died in the games at least went quickly. I put them as an honorable mention because we didn't actually see those deaths on screen. Let's start this list with something a bit easier. In the last spot, we have Sae-byeok's death. She was already bleeding all over from the glass bridge explosion, and yet her throat was slit by Sang-woo, although some of you might argue that this was a mercy, putting her out of her misery quickly and ending her suffering immediately. She was doomed no matter what. And at least this way, she didn't suffer any more than necessary. Next, we have the recruiter's death. That man really lived up to his word. Not gonna lie, I didn't think he was actually going to kill himself. And more than that, I didn't think Netflix would show us the whole thing on screen. I thought we'd only hear the gunshot fading away. But no, they showed us the whole deal. At least they didn't show all the blood and his brain splattered on the walls, so they did censor it a bit. We continue with player 271 from the first season. If you don't remember him, he's the player who was beaten to death by Deok-su after standing up to him and calling him out for stealing someone else's meal. Poor little fellow, he just wanted to eat. What makes this death so grotesque is the fact that no one stepped in to help 271, and the whole thing happened right in front of the guards. I don't know about you, but seeing someone beaten to death right before my eyes would definitely leave a big impact. Moving on, another heartbreaking death is that of Young Mi, and I'm not saying this because of her friendship with Hyunju. I'm saying this because we saw the life fade from her eyes through that tiny window. Also, her last Unnie was heartbreaking. We continue with another death from this season. One of the most disturbing deaths happened in the special game. I think some of you guessed that I'm referring to the first lady who was killed by Namgyu when the ex was attacked during bedtime. That lady didn't see it coming, and the way Namgyu kept butchering her was truly like something out of a horror show. He stabbed her at least 8 times. We saw the same fury and hatred when he killed Sae-mi as well, but the first lady's death was even more grotesque. On the third spot, we have Thanos' death. Although some of you might not consider his death that horrific, I still get chills remembering the way Thanos' blood spurted out on Mayungi's face. That scene was disturbing as hell, especially since it was filmed so close up. In second place, we have the old lady who fell during the glass bridge game, the way her skull shattered and her brain poured out. Why did Netflix have to show us that? We knew she was dead. They didn't need to give us that kind of confirmation. And taking the top spot for the most grotesque death in Squid Game are Deok-su and Min-nyeo's deaths from the glass bridge game. Although Min-nyeo's revenge was satisfying, I couldn't help but wonder and be horrified about the actual landing. Deok-su is a massive man, and compared to how tiny Min-nyeo was, just imagine how brutally she must have been flattened by his body. What a terrible way to go. Oh, and did I mention that Deok-su died knowing he has a small... well, you know. With this, we conclude our list. I know this isn't my usual type of video, but I want to explore more styles and topics about Squid Game. Since in the recent poll, you guys said you wanted more Squid Game content, Let me know which topics you want me to cover next, and I'll definitely make that happen.